Hey everybody, it's Friday again. Love is in the air this week. We're coming up for Valentine's Day, and with all the projects that I've done, I've always had a heart in it. So I just thought, it's Valentine's, we need to have a heart. So again, you can see, not got very much equipment. I've got a little bit of toy stuff in. So we're going to do a heart with some Trapunto today. So I've got a piece of red fabric for the front, and then a piece of thin fabric. It's a cotton, I think this is a bit of old cotton sheeting that's going to go onto the back. And basically what we do with Trapunto is we're going to stitch our heart shape. We're going to slit a little hole at the back, pop some stuff in it, and then finish stitching around the front. Or at least that's the theory anyway. So I need to start off with, I'm going to do this a little bit bigger than my tag, because when you do the Trapunto it can distort your fabric a little bit. So I'm just going to draw onto here just my basic tag shape. Okay, there we go. So I've got my basic tag shape, and then I need to do in the middle. It's important you don't get too near the edge. Okay. Quite like it going down into the V of my flag. Let's bring that side just in a little bit. Brilliant. Right, okay, so grab your other bit of fabric, pin it all together, and what we're going to do is a back stitch to outline the heart. So I'm using a pearl thread because I want my thread to stand out. Move those out of the way. Just trim that down. I think because February is usually quite a busy month, so we have coming up for half term. Can't wait. So ready for a break. I'm doing minimal tags, so I'm going to have to make up to it. We might have to do Mad March. We might have to make them really complicated. Right, okay, so here we go. So back stitch is where you go, do a little stitch, and you come up a little bit further on, pull it through, and then you just go back. So you go back to the hole that you just made, back there, and then stitch on a little bit. So we're making a solid line of stitch. My stitches are not that massive. So we're going to run all the way around the edge, and this is going to create our edge for our Trapunto. I do like Trapunto, we do it quite a bit at school. It's great for creating really nice shapes and textures and just a different surface. Oops. So I just thought, seeing as though we're just about on Valentine's Day in the next couple of days, and I always think whenever you're doing a project, especially one that's a bit long-winded, like ours is the whole year, we're putting our heart and soul into each little bit. So I don't normally do bits of work that, I don't know if you'd call them seasonal or anything. I know I did a couple of the Christmassy ones with the tags. I know, like throughout the year with the tags, we didn't particularly do. Well, I say we didn't particularly do. We didn't to start off with, but towards the end, because we ended up doing a fireworks one, and we had the Christmas wreath and the Christmas tree. Must just be that time of year. I think it is, because it is my favourite time of year, towards the end of the year. I think it's got something to do with, because me and quite a few of my friends all have birthdays at the end of the year. And I love autumn. I love autumn going into winter. Well, saying that, I love the beginning of November. And you start getting those crisp autumn mornings and all the trees start changing colour. And it's just absolutely stunning. But then once you've got over that bit, you end up with the grey bit. That can be a bit depressing. But I have to say, winter is definitely one of my favourite times of the year. It's just a bit sad that we don't get as much snow here as we used to do. I can remember when I was younger, when I lived back in Barnsley, we used to have days where you actually couldn't get out of the house. There was that much snow. And we used to go and wait for the school bus, because we were bused to school when I was at secondary school. And you used to be looking at your watch and looking at your watch, and the second it got to 8:30, if the buses hadn't been, you were straight home, got changed, got your sledge or your poly bag out, and you went off sledging for the rest of the day. Even if on your way home, because the bit that I didn't live that far away from the school bus stop, and the bus used to come on the road that I had to walk home on. But if I'd left the bus stop at 8:30, even if I saw the bus coming up the hill, I still went home, because you didn't go to school if the bus didn't come, because you'd got no way necessarily of getting home, because if the buses hadn't brought the kids to school, they didn't go to school to bring them home. So you'd get stuck in Penistone, because there just weren't the buses and stuff like there are now. Those were the days. Got loads of pictures of me when I was little in the back garden, building igloos and snowmen, and going down the back fields. There was it's called the bumps. So where I lived, there was a lot of coal mining went on, and there was a bit down the back fields called the Wagging Way, which was basically, it's like 2 hummocks of, well, that's all that's left now, of land, and they used to have the wagons that went down them, so we used to call them the bumps, and they were great for sledging over. But seeing as I'm filming this a little bit before February, you never know, we might have had snow. We might have snow. Okay, so this back stitch, we're getting our little heart, which is very cute. Going to concentrate. Even I do shut up sometimes when I'm concentrating. Or as my daughter used to call it, constant shaking. Harriet, my eldest daughter, when she was little, she used to say when she was trying really, really hard, she was constant shaking. And she did actually shake. She was just sort of like, her head would vibrate, and she was like, she was just trying really, really hard, that she was constant shaking. It's one of those things I love when kids do stuff like that, especially when they're your own, because they sort of never live it down. They're still constant shaking. Right, so I've gone all the way around. Just create a definite point on my heart. Okay, right, so then what we do is we're going to cut a tiny slit in the back. So tie this off just like we normally do. There we go. Right, so you want to make sure that you just get that top layer of fabric. So really sharp scissors. Just make a little hole. That's it. And cut a little slit. And then get hold of some stuffing. And you can sort of either use your scissors or a pokey stick or a pencil or your little finger. And you're going to pop some stuffing into the back. It doesn't need a lot, so stuffing, I've got a little bit of stuff out of an old pillow. You've got old cushions, you've got an old teddy bear, an old toy or a dog toy or something like that, or just a little bit of wool, tissue, anything really. Let's pop it in. So it's going to start puffing our little heart up. You can see it's sort of lifting it now off the surface. You sort of want enough on so that it puffs it up, but not too much that it totally distorts everything. So keep turning it round to the front. So you want the stuffing sort of to go into the middle. Just stabbing myself. I think that's probably enough. You can sort of see it's just gone up a little bit. Okay, and then just get your thread and then we're just going to stitch the back up. So just go from one side to the other. And just stitch that closed. Oops. Just catch a bit of the fabric. You don't want to get too close to the opening because your fabric could fray a little bit. It's like being a surgeon. It's not like being a surgeon at all. If you are a surgeon, I'm sorry. It's nothing like being a surgeon, but it does feel like being a surgeon. Just imagine if you could go and have surgery and you could say what particular, I would like blanket stitch today, please. Or could you fasten me up with some French knots? Okay, there's our heart. So all I'm going to do then is to go up to the edge of my tag. I'm just going to do a seed stitch because you want that heart just to stand out lots. I'm just going to start doing lots and lots of seed stitch so that the red stands out, and then the seed stitch will just make sure that all the fabric around the edge lays flat. Come on needle, you know you want to thread. I think that's gone through, yep. So your seed stitch is just tiny little straight stitches in lots and lots of random directions. So I'm going to start next to my heart shape. I'll try and keep them similar sizes, but basically all you're going to do are lots and lots of tiny little stitches. I'm going to get them really dense next to the heart, and then I'll spread them out a little bit as I go to the edge. And what I'll do then as I start getting nearer the edge and it starts flattening out is I'll just keep laying my template over the top, just so that I know. I'm going to just pin that because that felt like it was going to fold back on itself. Just so that I know, so I'll keep laying that down and I'll keep just popping my tag over the top just to make sure it's still keeping its shape. It should still be okay. Just take it to the edge, and then when I've done that I shall just cut it out and attach it to So this is going to be something I'm going to see. It's going to take me probably a bit of time. So even though this was meant to be a quick tag, this bit's going to take quite a little bit of time. So I'm not going to video all this, not the most exciting thing to sit and watch. So I shall do what I normally do. I'll pop a post on, unless I decide to do something else, and then I'll come back with a very quick video. So this is your heart for Valentine's Day. I hope everybody has a lovely day. I'm sending you all my love. And I can't wait to see. Do a bit of a close-up so you can see what's going on with that. Is it going to focus? There we go. So I'm going to do lots of C-stitching right up to the edge, so then the heart's really going to stand out. And then that will go on our tag. So there we go. Happy Valentine's. I hope everybody's safe and well, and I will see you next week. Love, hugs. Mwah.